Welcome to Built for This. I'm your host, Brian Briscoe. My podcast features captivating conversations with intriguing people who have found purpose in their lives through their career, family, or life experiences, and just why they were built for this. Through the stories that you will hear, I trust that you will be inspired and encouraged to find just what you were built for. So let's get started. And welcome to another edition this week of Built for This. It is a true honor and a pleasure to welcome in a friend and one of the top luxury travel advisors in America, and working with one of the best luxury travel agencies anywhere, located in Dallas. But my guest today is Arlene Thompson-Brantley. And Arlene, thank you so much for being with me on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to talk some fun travel adventures and what a lot that you do for your career, and with Rudi Steele Travel, certainly one of the preeminent travel agencies of luxury travel in the world. But I'd like to start back with, how did you get involved in your life when you thought, you know what, I think I'm going to do this travel thing? And was travel an important part of your life growing up before you started doing it professionally?
It was an important part of my life. My father always engaged the family to travel locally and abroad.
Yeah.
So as I turned into middle school and high school, we went all the way from Canada to Mexico to Europe, etc. And that is, of course, when I wore the white gloves and the petticoats and had all that, fun, fancy travel. So he instilled the allure to seeing the world in such a beautiful way.
What about the international part of that, which is what you do so much right now with Rudi Steele Travel? But when you look back when you were just a young girl, and then later on as you're moving through your early life, what's the impact of traveling abroad, international travel, seeing other cultures and people? How did that affect you personally?
That affects me in a myriad of ways. First of all, I'm just amazed at the beauty of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and all the different places, from Scandinavia to South America to Asia to Western Europe, etc. All the topography and the people and the cultures just amaze me, especially the history that is so involved in international travel. America is such a young country.
Yeah.
And when you're in Egypt and you're looking back at something in BC, and you realize such a speck in the sand that we are, and we're just on this earth for such a short time, what has been before us and what's after us, I find it, I get filled with humility and awe of the creation that we walk in this world during our time there. So that's something that spiritually amazes me. Also, in exploring other cultures, there's an understanding and acceptance of other people.
Mm-hmm.
The divisions are not so broad as I think people want them to be. Every person, generally speaking, wants a healthy family,
Yeah.
wants to be part, have their children educated, wants to feed them, wants to make sure they have a safe environment, all the way from the poverty of India, all the way up to Dallas, Texas. In seeing the women nurture their children, no matter where I am in the world, we're the same. We're in the core, the same.
And that's a really profound and I guess deep level of what travel can do to a person, for a person, what it means. So through the years, I mean, it obviously seems like it's much more than just putting together schedules and luxury travel things and coordinating with travel partners and that thing. But for you, it obviously hits much closer to home. And that, is that a message that you like to try to get across to your constituents or your people, that this is going to be more than just a trip? This could be life-changing.
Definitely. When I engage a client to design an international itinerary for them, whether it's for a couple or a family or a multi-generational family,
Mm-hmm.
I first want to understand why they're going. What is it that captivate them for the destination? What are their interests? what makes them excited, what brings them enthusiasm, whether or not it's a literature class in London with an English professor of of literature, or if it's the cathedrals or churches, or if it's a walk through the Jewish quarter and visiting with a Holocaust son or daughter, or if it is climbing the mountains or hiking and biking and seeing the nature that is in Austria and Switzerland and of course other places.
Yeah.
I want to captivate their interest. That's what's exciting about designing different itineraries. It's all personal. It's what captures you, what brings you to the place that you are. And so I try to implement that to each and every itinerary to make it very personal.
We're going to talk more about that and really just what luxury travel and virtuoso travel means. But talk a little bit about how you started your beginnings. I think it was in Dallas doing group tours and things like that,
Oh,
if you can go all the way back there.
yes, I started with Adventure Tours USA.
Yeah.
I was the British Caledonia ticketing representative out
Okay.
of Dallas, the Adventure Tours. BCal is no longer, and that's when you hand wrote tickets.
Okay.
I started to travel in 1981. So lot has changed, and a lot has changed for the better, and
Hmm.
some not so better. Change always, is two sides of the coin. But now we're such a more personal connection with our clients, whereas then it was simply a transaction.
Hmm.
And that made it very rote. Airlines paid commission. We put, people in airplanes. We got them to the destination. They took a tour and they came home. And now it's all 24/7. It's all engaging. It's all hand touch. It's totally personal. And that's where I started, was a ticketing agent with Adventure Tours, and then I went to a strip shop
Hmm.
travel agency and for 3 years, and then I knew that there was something out there that was much more exciting than simply taking a trip to the Caribbean for 3 nights in Cancun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do more with what I inspire people to do, is to travel abroad and see different cultures, etc. So then I came to Rudi Steele Travel in 1987, and then I became an owner of Rudi Steele Travel in 2020.
Right. Well,
So 5 years now.
let's talk about that then. Again, this is a travel agency that's, as you mentioned, has been there a long, long time. Started by the namesake of the company. And what was it like? Like you said, at that point, you were looking for something a little more than what you had done in the past. And I liked your words of that it had become a more personal touch. You wanted it to be a more personal touch, and which is how travel is now. But what was it that attracted you about what Rudi Steele Travel was doing, and that you wanted to be a part of just enhancing that?
Rudi Steele Travel was built on connection before transaction.
Mm.
We connect with our clients in an intimate and personal way. We have them from their honeymoon all the way up to them as grandparents,
Yeah.
doing multi-generational. We become part of their folio. Like you would have a financial advisor or a doctor,
Hmm.
or something that is in your wheelhouse of life. We become that to them because we know what they like. We know their dislikes. We know their family members, the married, the divorce, and all the things that go into families, etc. And so we become part of them, and that's what's also so inspiring to me, is become a part of how they see our world and how they can experience with their families all that it has to offer.
Now, you're considered a luxury travel advisor and virtuoso travel as Rudi Steele. What is, obviously that's more than, like you said, in the old days where you just go book a trip and get on an airplane and go somewhere. What's that level of the kind of service, concierge service, that you're offering people that want to go on a little something different, a little more different experience?
Well, I think you said the right word, Brian, is concierge services. Oh, when we take on a client, we of course do the transactional part,
Sure.
right? We do air ticket, right? We do the transfers. But how do you want to be transferred? Do
Hmm.
you want to be transferred in a taxi? That's usually not what we do. Do you want to be transferred in a Mercedes, a Bentley, a Rolls, a horse-drawn carriage, a boat? How do you want to be transferred to your hotel? So the experience starts, first of all, when you step on the airplane. Of course, I wish I could be every flight attendant and make everything smooth and be in charge of DFW to make sure every plane takes off on time. But of course, I can't and I don't. But of course, if anything comes awry, we're there for our clients. And then once you touch down, you meet and greet, you have the VIP, whether it's at the jetway or it is after customs, to get you to your hotel seamlessly. So from the beginning to the end, we try to touch our clients.
And your clients, do you find that they already know what they want, or is that part of the experience of being the kind of agency you are and and what you do is, and you mentioned earlier about discovering who these people are individually or as a group, and then you craft the ideas around what their personalities are, what their wants, what their desires are, and build that through them more so? Or are you seeing them mostly come to you that, hey, we want to do something really exciting, but we don't know what that is?
Usually, Brian, that's what happens. Clients come to us for ideas and inspirations.
Mhm.
They know what they want in terms of perhaps distance.
Mhm.
They come in perhaps experience. They want winter or they want the Sahara.
Yeah.
They have that concept, but they don't really know where that want can be located. And so it is up to us to give them different options as to where they can create what they're looking for. Sometimes clients come in and go, I want to go to Africa Safari. Okay, great. Well, Africa is a big country. So when are you going? That's a huge, because of the locations and the different weather patterns all over from north to south. And what are your expectations when you go to Africa? Some people want to see the big five.
Yeah.
Some people want to do the rivers or the lakes, or some people want to do the sand dunes. Some people also want to go see the gorilla. So, of course, we start bringing in other aspirations of travel and pique their interest. I didn't think of that. Well, that's a great idea. Well, let's extend a week longer. So usually they have a concept, perhaps of something they're looking for or the experience. I want to go snow skiing in Europe. Well, that's a broad question.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to educate them on the differentiations of where to go, when to go, what they're looking for, big mountains, small mountains, experts, beginning slopes, etc. So
do you find
yes.
yourself, Arlene, maybe thinking back or drawing back on your early days or your time when your family was exposing you to international travel and experience, and you were getting the understanding of feeling of what it is and what you enjoyed about it? Do you reach back to your own personal experiences and try to parlay that a little bit into, I think this family would really enjoy it because, that's how I learned about this or that kind of thing?
Oh, definitely. I try to travel as much as I can.
Yeah.
Fortunately, clients want me to be in the office, but I can't be in the office and be in Lima, Peru.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a balance there. But yes, I try to, when I did travel as a young girl all the way up to now, yes, I do lean on those experiences. And when some clients like go to London and tour around and do their things, I'm usually visiting hotels,
Yeah.
because just because I like a particular hotel doesn't mean another client would. So it's up to me to be educated on experiences and hotels and any type of transportation, etc., so that when the client tells me what they're looking for, then I can say, I've got the perfect place for you. Clients many times say, well, what's your favorite place?
Yeah.
Or favorite hotel there. But I step back and go, that is I can certainly answer that, but this is not my trip. This is your trip. So you tell me what's important to you at this destination, this hotel, this particular experience. Cooking classes are huge now, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't cook, but I can give you the best gelato class, pizza making class, Mission Star class, meet a famous chef, all that you want to do. And so I try to make sure I experience it or I know how to obtain that for my client.
And now I know that, and I know that you do travel a lot because I follow, and I have a chance to work with you on some projects here as well. But and talk a little bit more about the importance of that from your role of almost like a scouting trip of ahead of time, maybe way before ahead of time, or maybe before you even know you're going to have a client that would want that, but to create the personal relationships that I know is important for you with hotel properties and destinations and experiences. But is that where you spend so much of your time right now, is building those kind of relationships?
Relationships are of paramount importance in my business.
Hmm.
Anyone can book a hotel. That is a transactional business. But when I know the general manager, the managing director, the concierge, and I can go to them and say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are coming in, and they greet Mr. and Mrs. Smith and they make them personally welcome to that hotel. Or I know the chef or the cook or the guide, etc. And they go, oh, I'm so glad Arlene sent me to you.
Hmm.
It personal touches and personal relationships are paramount in this business because it's me that greets them at the hotel. It is me that makes sure that the theater tickets are at the concierge desk. And when I say me, it's because I know the concierge at the hotel and I know the tickets are there
Yeah.
and I know they have good seats at the theater. So if I didn't know all those people, they would just be another transaction. They would just be one of the web browsers that you go in and say, A, B, C, D.
Hmm.
That is not what we do. We make sure those people in that hotel, on that boat, in that cooking class, know that they're my clients.
And because I know that you have already expressed in the show here that this is so personal for you and not transactional, what are the feelings that you get after a trip, or even during planning one, knowing who your clients are going to be on the trip, and then seeing it unfold during that time and then afterwards? But for you, it obviously it is your job, but it's obviously you've already expressed that it is such a passion and more personal to you. What kind of feelings do you get after you've concluded a trip that probably went really well?
It is very rewarding for me when my clients come back and say, Arlene, you created a trip of a lifetime.
Hmm.
That's really my ultimate reward. When I have created a family experience
Hmm.
that the children are going to remember for a lifetime with their parents or with their grandparents or on a honeymoon couple, the biggest reward I get out of what I do is to make spectacular memories for my clients. I can't tell you what that means to me, but it means everything to me because that's what I work so diligently for.
Are you seeing travel become like passed down generationally? Like you said, you like to see the kids on a trip and they've had a wonderful experience. How important is that, do you think, that travel be passed on to the next generation and they are be able to experience and what that means and can change? We've already talked about cultures and we think about other parts of the world. What's the importance of that, of travel being passed down?
Parents or the adult leader of a family, whether it be an aunt or a grandfather, etc., definitely pass down the love of travel to their children. They see travel in a whole different way as they've grown up, creating the memories, of course, and seeing other cultures and experience the pain and suffering of air travel and how that's handled and how to maneuver when bumps in the road happen
Mhm.
in travel. So there's a lot of learning skills there. When you can navigate Heathrow, or Narita, in Tokyo, etc. So there's a confidence that they also give their young the children, grandchildren, etc., when they travel, how to talk in sign language, or how to now translate in your phone and ask, where's the bathroom, or I need to get to, or in relating to other people in different cultures. That is definitely passed down and is a wonderful legacy to leave.
What are the kinds of changes, I guess, since the '80s that you're seeing that is better for travel? I know there's a lot of logistics changes that have been good, but what do you think that has improved that for the better now?
What's improved for the better is we're no longer travel agents.
Yeah.
Travel agents came from the word of agents at the ticket counter. Because when I started my career, the only way you could get a ticket is the airline, a city ticket office, or a travel
Yeah.
agency.
Yeah.
And we were transactional. I mean, that's all we did all day is tons of tickets. That now, of course, is being held by, the computer, et cetera,
Hmm.
that responsibility, which is great. And so we've become travel advisors. We consult, we engage, and that's been a very big learning and for the travel industry. And even in the older clientele that we have, they still think we're travel agents.
Yeah.
Well, airlines no longer pay commissions
Yeah.
for travel agencies. We obtain our commissions by booking hotels or cruises or tours, and then my agency, we bill. We have planning fees, we have hourly fees, we have research fees, because now, if I gave all the information that I know after 44 years of travel and you took that away, you could book it on your own,
Hmm.
because there is a method of booking on the computer. So each of my advisors, we bill for our research time. And that's what's changed a lot in this industry, is that we value our time and we value who we are now and what we know now.
And as far as the travelers go, and maybe it is demographics age wise, I'm not sure, but are you obviously still see a high demand and a want for that personal one-on-one, have an advisor to just what you said that you do, plan all the way to the details, as opposed to having the person do everything themselves. So you still see that heavy desire for the personal touch that's involved in what you do.
I definitely see the demand for the personal touch. Why?
Yeah.
Service is not paramount now in the age
Yeah.
of technology. When you call your television company, or your electric company, or anything else, you're on hold. You get hit one, hit two, hit three. You want to scream because you want to talk to a person.
Hmm.
And that's why I sometimes scream in my office when it's hysterically busy. We will never go out of business, because there are enough clients in the world that want service. They want someone to answer the phone. They want to say, "Hello, how are you? How can I help you?" Okay, and allow me to transfer you. That is service. And
Yes.
in today's world of technology, that's not always the case. Um, Even getting a car rental, if you're gold, you go straight to your car. Yes, that's efficient, but there's no relationship there.
Hmm.
So if all of a sudden another car company offered me a better deal, I'd go there. So the key is the relationship piece, uh, to travel, and that's what we do so well.
And because of the day and age of technology, like you said, that we live in, people can do so much online on their computer, this and that. I once thought that I would start a business and it would just be customer service, but it could be for any industry. If somebody just wants just customer service, then I would take care of it from there. Do you see that that's really what Rudi Steele is offering somebody? That's what you do, that through your personal connections and relationships, that really you're offering customer service.
Rudi Steele Travel definitely offers customer service. We totally engage.
Hmm.
There is not, a 1 hour hold time or a 30-minute hold time. We call clients promptly back. So it's a very immediate response to clients. Of course, if it's all possible,
Sure.
sometimes we're engaged in having to get the answer and have to wait, etc. So that is the key, is the customer service. That is why clients come to us, because we are prompt, we are proactive. We just don't wait to a client to call us and say, oh, yes, I need transfers in London. We reach out and say, do you need transfers in London? Oh, no, I'm taking care of that, et cetera, et cetera. Fine. Do you need restaurants in London? Have you thought about that weather? There's a coming in. I mean, we're always constantly touching the client's itinerary. When I make a hotel reservation, I touch it 4 times. It's just not a click and point and I've made a reservation, Pelican Hill, something. I mean, I let them know their estimated time of arrival. I know the preferences. They want to be near an elevator. They want the sunset, sunrise. We're all about customer service and personal touch.
All right, let's talk about some experiences and destinations and fun stuff. I know that Rudi Steele Travel just, nothing's off the chart, nothing that you could plan anywhere. I've seen experiences that you talked about of anything you could do in Africa, wedding destinations that are just over the top that you've planned, riverboat cruises down the Rhine River, all over the place, in the States, internationally. Let's start with maybe what has been one of your all-time favorite places, or just a place that you like to plan travel for somebody to go anywhere in the world.
Okay, so the question is,
what do you want to do?
My favorite place to plan trips. Is that what you said?
Yeah, for destination.
The destination. Wow, that's hard, because people do ask me what my favorite destinations are, but it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
If I want to just lay low, not see any hotels, not to talk to anybody, meet any general managers for a coffee, a drink, a site inspection, etc. I love the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I love Tahiti and Fiji. I get away and totally sit on the beach. I don't need to see hotels. I mean, I have, but I've seen what I need to see and I move on.
Mm-hmm. One
also experience that I made was I went to Paws Up in Missoula, Montana, and stayed in a ranch house and did the horseback riding, the ATVs, the river rafting, getting away and not having business at hand.
Yeah.
Because when I go into Paris or Munich or, Madrid, I'm working. I know exactly what I need to see, who I need to reach out to, etc. So cities are hard for me because it's all, even when I'm on vacation and I walk down the street of Berlin, I go into a hotel just to feel the vibe, just to go in and have a cup of coffee, just because I want to see it and feel it and see the people and see the interactions. It's because you can pick up what a hotel is like from that type of lobby interaction experience. Oh yeah, I can pick that up in minutes, just because I've done it for so long. If I want to go to a city, if I want to go to a country, I love Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What's not to like about Italy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
And I was once at a party and someone said, if you could live anywhere, if you could take up your family, everything you've done, and just you've been raised somewhere else, where would you live? And I said, Lake Como.
Okay.
Northern Italy.
Great choice.
It is just absolutely stunning. Now, would I get tired? But perhaps, of the mountains, the beauty of the lake, but I'm only 45 minutes to Milan, the fashionable capital of Italy. So I'm in.
Yeah. Have you ever come across or say, have you had a client or someone come to you and want some kind of special trip and did it stump you for any time? Like, ooh, how are we going to plan that? How is that going to be really hard to pull off? Because I can't imagine there's any kind of trip that you would not been able to put together, as bizarre location or destination that they may want, whether it's a wedding or just a getaway. Any particular big challenge, or maybe you face those challenges all the time and find a way through them?
Well, that's a good question. Has it ever stumped me? I don't think so. I don't remember anything that could not occur that was legal and lawful.
Yeah.
I've had wedding renewals in the Borghese Gardens. Um, you know, I've had, birthday, celebrations, at the Eiffel Tower,
Hmm.
surprises there. It's just so, no, nothing that's really stumped me, that could not happen. Sometimes the timing
Yeah.
has to be changed or the date
Yeah.
has to be changed due to conflicts within the particular facility or festival or something like that, but usually within the time frame, it can be done.
Yeah.
All it takes is money, Brian.
Well, that's true. Money and time have how have the just the worldwide you know happenings and politics and just occurrences around the world. I know you always have to be on top of what's going on. How has that been a challenge for you in the travel industry? And what have you reached back for in your own, foundational makeup that has allowed you to still deliver what people's hopes and dreams are, is despite what the challenges might be?
The key to travel is flexibility. When the door closes, the window opens, or you go out the back door. For example, the Ukraine-Russia conflict,
Mm.
clients going to Poland, they now don't feel comfortable due to the shenanigans that have occurred lately. So we've had to pivot. And so they're going down to Slovenia. So when the world jars us a little bit, i.e. 9/11, 9/11,
Yeah.
I was around at 9/11, the brand of bankruptcy, I was there then. And of course, 2020, the key is to pivot. It's
Hmm.
the art of pivoting because our clients usually step back, evaluate, and then move forward. Uh, we have clients that maybe couldn't go somewhere, but then they go elsewhere with some of the politics that's going on, or conflicts, etc. So they go to Aspen instead of going to, you know, uh, Zermatt,
Yeah.
or they just do something different. And for us, that's the art of flexibility that we built into our makeup so that we can pivot when there's a conflict that happens. One thing nice about Texas is when all these conflicts happen, our clients tend to stay, but then they move. We're not ones to stay at home.
Hmm.
We're not ones to sit back and see what everybody else is doing. We're very much in the forefront, especially Dallas, even with the recession and all. So you couldn't go to, Aspen. So you went to, Breckenridge.
Yeah.
You kept moving. It's very interesting to see when the East and West coasts were shutting down, for the recession. Texas was very interesting. It kept moving.
Well,
So
that's an interesting point about that travel continues or continued on. How did you relay, or I guess encourage people that you work with, travelers that you work with, that despite the challenges that they may be facing either on their own personal life or what was going on around them, that travel was still important to do in some element, in some fashion, however it would be, because of how important travel was to you growing up, that you continued to do that. Is that a message as an advisor that you tried to give to people, that, hey, don't give up. This is important to you, your happiness, your well-being, that you should do it, but maybe, like you use the word pivot, we'll do something different, but still important to do.
there have always been conflicts as long as I've been in the travel industry. Um, if it's not something, it's another.
Hmm.
So so I instill in my travelers to keep on moving. The key, though, is if you're uncomfortable with this particular decision, don't start your trip being uncomfortable. The travel is hard.
Yeah.
The planes, trains, automobiles, it's hard. Sometimes I say the worst thing about traveling is traveling to get there. You
Right. Yeah,
know?
right.
You know,
Right.
you know, that enough being said on that. So if they're uncomfortable, I see where is then you will feel safe, where you'll feel comfortable, where you won't feel intimidated, where you won't be cautious. Where is it that you feel? Is it in America?
Hmm.
Is it in Mexico? Is it in Canada? We need to start there when the world is up in arms about something or another or something. Don't stop, because you going is going to show that you're okay, that it's going to be okay. All things pass, as we know,
Hmm.
Brian.
Yeah.
Everything's going to pass. And I'm not saying, of course, not to do not put yourself in an unsafe position, because I would never do that to a client, or nor my land offices that I utilize for my clients, when they're on the ground, whether it's Italy or Africa, etc. So that's also one thing that we have, is we have nets, nets, that if there's something that happens, if an uprising happens in Nairobi, for example, we've got a team there that goes in, secures our clients, and makes sure they're safe.
Hmm.
So there's never been an incident where we've lost a client, or there's been an issue with fear, because they're handled immediately within that
Yeah.
space. Because I can't be there. I can't be there. It'd take me 24 hours to get there, but
Yeah.
I've got the people in order to make them feel good. And so as people go and they travel and they have nets, they've got somebody on the ground that calls them and say, "Are you okay? Great. We're going to take care of you. Not a problem." Because they know their country, they know the people.
Hmm.
And that's what makes people feel very secure when they travel.
What are you seeing? I know you stay so in tune with the trends of travel, international and domestic. What are you seeing as whatever it may be, the next trend in travel or desire for travel? Not necessarily technology, but is travel changing, or people still have the same dreams and desires that maybe you had as a kid, and they still have those? Or do you see any kind of change on the horizon that we'll see travel a little differently?
One change that has occurred is the traveler wants to give back.
Hmm.
We have become, I believe, a very human, um, connecting society, even though with all the differences in our politics, etc. Clients want to plant a bush,
Hmm.
in an African slum. They want to go feed the disability people in India at Mother Teresa's. They want to go see the orphans home in Africa and sponsor a child. They want to go scrape the reefs, snorkeling with some of the biologists for an hour. It's very interesting that especially the younger, and I'm talking, 50 and below,
Yeah.
they want to give back. They want to do something, not just sit on the beach, not just climb a mountain. They want to, maybe for an hour, pick up the trash
Hmm.
in the mountain campsites. They want to recycle. They want to have the water bottle in their room and not have water bottles they pick up every day at the beach club. It's very interesting. Sustainability is a forefront of travelers nowadays.
That's very interesting. And the experiential, like you said, give back or humanitarian aspect of travel. And like you said, maybe that's where this generational age group demographic is in travel. And so what are the not it may not even be a challenge, but what are the opportunities for you as an advisor to, okay, well, I need to develop something special that maybe it's not just off this chart of things that you can do when we go, but that it has to be something really special and meaningful for the client, and that it's more than just a trip, but they want something to give back, as you mentioned.
Due to the differentiation of interest of clients, some may be animal lovers.
Mhm.
And so when they're in Africa, they sponsor an elephant because there's orphan elephants.
Mhm.
Or when they go to an orphanage, they sponsor a child, or they cook meals. And in when I was in India, I went and cooked meals in a kitchen at a hotel, and then they were served to the homeless, in Mumbai. So depending on the interest of the client, then a sustainability excursion or experience can be developed for them independently or with a group, like the turtles in Cayman.
Hmm.
The little when the turtles come out, and they mark them and they count them, etc. People can be on the beach assisting those biologists to understand the hatching. That's what
Yeah.
it is, the hatching of the turtles. So it's very interesting, all the methods of sustainability on islands and in countries that you can be engaged in based on when, and where you're going.
Do you see that Rudi Steele Travel now, since that's been identified, obviously, in a lot of the travel they want to do, that will be something that you will be a big focus or an offer, sustainability travel for people? Because I know that there's all kinds of categories, multi-generational families, and all kinds of different travel packages you can put together. But is sustainability now kind of getting its own category of travel because of what you just said?
It's definitely its own category. Some clients are not really engaged in that.
Yeah.
They're more interested in history. There are other more interested in experiencing more culture,
Hmm.
with local families, etc. But there can always be a sustainable experience based on the interest of the client.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just have to, as an advisor, I can tell them what's out there in order to engage them based on their interests, which I've evaluated at the very beginning of our consultation period, and see if they want to do that. And of course, there's some people that don't want. They do this here in Dallas. They work at the food bank or their Habitat for Humanity. They do their work here. They want to get away. They want to lay on a beach, read a book, and have a mojito.
Hmm.
So it just depends on the client.
Arlene, what about as you look back on your career? It's very illustrious, a lot of awards for helping people experience what they sometimes would never get to experience, and to make them happy. When you look back over it all, what's the rewards that you see for you yourself personally, to having become this travel advisor or relationship builder through travel? As you look back and look forward, that this is why I do what I do.
I will say this, and then I'll say that's really incorrect. There is no price tag on travel,
Mhm.
but of course, as we know, there's always a price tag on everything. But you can't you can't put a price on that memory.
Mhm.
You can't put a price on that experience. You can't put a price on going to Rome with a new person and they turn the corner and see the Colosseum, and that's it. Or I remember when I was in India and I opened my door to my room, and right there, framed in my balcony, was the Taj Mahal.
Wow.
And I went, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And the woman that was showing me the room said, "That's okay. That happens." Because I could not believe that I was standing and sitting looking at the Taj Mahal. It had been a dream of mine forever. And so to create those moments, that is what I will take away, is if I've given that moment, that experience, that grandfather has seen the child touch a stingray for the first time at the Stingray City on Grand Cayman, and the
Yeah.
giggle that little child has produced because of the experience the granddad has given them. That's what I need. That's all I need. Because you cannot put a price tag on that.
Well, Arlene, you've been giving a lot of those special moments and memories for families and individuals for a long time. It's obviously much more than just a travel trip. It's a personal touch that you've been giving these people. It's fascinating to hear about that. I just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and giving people these lifetime experiences that will never change their lives. And I appreciate you sharing with us on the show and sharing with what your life is about and what's important for you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Built for This. Be sure to follow Built for This on your favorite listening platform and share it with a friend. Join me on the next episode when I will share entertaining stories of inspiration, encouragement, and purpose-driven experiences. What are you built for? Built for This is produced and recorded by Heart Media DFW.